Hey, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. So, you may have noticed that many of us have been on edge. And I'm not just talking about spiritual people, I'm just talking about everybody in general, right? So, what's the difference between this week and last week or the week before? Maybe you thought, wow, I had a better handle on my emotions a couple of weeks ago. Now what's going on? Is it that Mercury Retrograde is coming? Could be like a prodrome of that, right? So that communication's a little funky, things are assumed, things are not getting, the way you want it to be. Maybe. However, the nice thing about being able to ask source these things is that sometimes there are patterns. So when I see a lot of people having the same sort of pattern, and especially if it's myself included, one of the things that I like to ask is it really our individual stuff that's coming up, or is it something bigger than that? And in this case, it is something bigger than that. So if you have been feeling kind of frustrated or annoyed lately, just realize it may not be completely your stuff. Now, it doesn't mean it's not your stuff, but this week I figured out that one of the reasons this is coming up so often is not because necessarily of what's happening in the outer world. So let me give you some examples. Some people are very frustrated and upset because their governments or legislators are doing things that are very restrictive and maybe even unlawful, right? So they can potentially get really frustrated over that. Or maybe people are complaining about being frustrated because their clients aren't, are doing weird things, or not showing up, or maybe their family members are arguing with them about all sorts of things, politics, medical mandates, whatever. Or maybe they're frustrated because of what they see on the news. There are people who are very frustrated about how the news operates in the first place. Really people call it fear mongering, and trying to get people scared. Some people are frustrated because they feel like other people have kind of thick heads and are not getting the message of what they need to do, to help the pandemic. So, there's things on both sides, right? And I get that, and it's certainly understandable to be frustrated. And it's been a long journey, right? And it's not ended yet. And for some, it doesn't seem like there ever is going to be an end, and I get that too. So yes, you do have reasons in the outside world to feel frustrated and annoyed and irritable. Okay. And, if it's not, some of the women would be like, oh, I'm just, it's like my premenstrual or whatever like that. Well, it could be. It could be. I don't have that excuse anymore because I'm pretty, close to 60 years old. So no, I don't have those anymore. So that's not it. That's not it. So what is it? What is it? Well, here's the good news. We've been having some Ascension upgrades, and if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that that is not necessarily anything new. However, with each upgrade or expansion of energies, there are different things that are ready or available for healing. And the neat thing over the last week is that what's available for healing is something that we can heal as a collective, which is very interesting. I call this collective all of humanity. So this is all of us who are humans currently embodied, whether it be in this universe, other universes, this planet, other planets, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so all of humanity means humans, okay, and in my vernacular anyway. So all of humanity has, for this past week, had available the clearing and healing of two major areas. One, negative thought forms. Now, negative thought forms are things like, now some people call them beliefs, but negative thought forms are things that may float in your energy field that you may not actually personally believe. Sometimes it is what you personally believe, and sometimes it's not as dug in deep like a true belief per se. So a negative thought form, just think of it as a negative thought that, kind of floats around. And you may have heard a lot of it. You may have absorbed it from someone. You may have inherited it from family members. There's many different ways. Or you might have just walked by someone, if you're a sensitive soul and didn't have really good boundaries, ended up in your, mental body, so to speak. So negative thought forms could be things like, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, I'm worthless, right? So these types of negative thought forms were healing, or are healing, en masse for all of humanity, okay? So when this happens, some of the irritability can come from these things resolving or healing themselves. Because think about it. If you, in the past, especially if this was a belief, if you in the past felt like, I'm not good enough and I don't deserve, good things because I haven't worked hard enough, I'm not smart enough, that kind of thing. And now suddenly this is being healed automatically with the ascension process. Then what happens? Think about it. So then you start feeling, wait a second, I do deserve, I am worthy, I am good enough. So what am I seeing in my life right now that I don't really like? Hey, not cool. I'm more connected to what I want, right? So that might happen. So don't be surprised if that has happened. So it's a good thing that these negative thought forms are available and coming up for healing. And the inconvenient part, or the not so fun part, is sometimes you're feeling the other side of it, because you may not have even noticed that they were there in the first place. And now that they're clearing and healing, automatically you might see, or you might realize that you've been living in a reality that no longer serves you. And that can totally cause frustration and irritability, even if you're not aware that these negative thought forms are auto-healing or auto-clearing. So what else? The other thing that seems to be clearing at the moment is emotional addictions. So this is something that I talk about in TOLPAKAN Healing Level 1 training. So there's a couple of different ways of looking at emotional addictions. First of all, they're usually not conscious. It's not something that you go, gee, today I'm going to create an emotional addiction. It's not like that. It's something that you've kind of developed over time usually. And these can be very, very dug in deep there. Sometimes emotional addictions will take a really, really long time to unearth and heal one by one. Well, not so much one by one. Past 8 days, it has been en masse, again, for all of humanity. So what are emotional addictions? Well, you can have an emotional addiction to feel something or not feel something, to be something or not be something. Okay, and in TOLPAKAN Healing, we go into detail of examples of that, but let me give you a couple right now. So some of the common emotional addictions I have seen people release in my one-on-one VIP, clientele, is the emotional addiction to feel. We'll start with the word feel stressed. Yes, you can have an addiction to stress. My mom's really good at it. I learned that well. Okay, that's much better for me right now, but she's kind of still in that space. Okay, she doesn't watch these, so I can say that, unless you tell her, but it's all good. So what else? Emotional addiction to feel unsupported. Yeah, that is freaking common, I gotta tell you. Okay, how many of you have that? Raise your hand. Yeah, so if throughout your life you felt unsupported, it is possible that you have unknowingly an emotional addiction to feel unsupported. So therefore the universe has to give you exactly what that pattern is, What other common ones? Maybe an emotional addiction to feel alone or unheard. Some people have emotional addictions to not just feel or not feel something, to be or not be something. So, for example, you may have an emotional addiction to not be powerful, or you may have an emotional addiction to be a victim, or to be sabotaged. So there's a whole bunch here. We're not going to name them all, but there's a whole bunch that are ready to heal right now. And as of this recording, we're about 70% done. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest while you're here with me on this video. And the other thing too is that one of the, you know, I say it time and time again, but it's still valid today, is that even if you are feeling frustration and that kind of thing, maybe you said something that you wish you didn't, or you made a mistake, something like that. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, you don't have to be perfect to be lovable, you know? You are 100% of value, unique, and loved, no matter what mistakes you've made. And we do the best that we can. So you're listening to this, you're watching this. We all make that intention, to learn from our quote unquote mistakes, and to grow from them and to grow in our relationships. And here's the really cool thing. I really want you to get this. When we have an interaction with someone, could be a friend, a coach, a loved one, employer, whatever it is, and we feel gypped or we feel there's a problem, but we don't want to talk about it because we don't want to like rock the boat, right? We don't rock the boat and you're like, oh, I'll just have to let this go this time, hopefully they won't do it next time, or and then it can fester, inside. But here's the really neat thing. All these ascension upgrades are opportunities, and this is one of them. The opportunity to go, get this, deeper and more intimate in your relationships with other humans, other people. And that may mean some practice, in terms of communication. And that could mean saying, wow, okay, I see your point of view, and I noticed that I was kind of irritable. Or wow, I was kind of irritable. I'm not really sure where that came from, but really, hopefully I didn't bother you that much with it. And if I did, I apologize. And really not feeling like you're less than just because things weren't perfect. I had a conversation with, a messenger conversation with someone recently, and somebody I hadn't seen in a while, and way back we were supposed to meet and had an appointment and things like that, and I go there and nobody's home. I mean, nobody's there, and I'm knocking, I'm texting, I'm calling, nothing, right? Never really got an explanation. Afterwards, I kind of did the same thing. Texted, hey, what's going on? I heard from this person later and said, hey, do you want to reschedule? And I was like, yeah, but I would really like to know what happened. And so, but I thought, I mean, this person was having, some stuff going on in their lives. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to pressure them about it. It's like, so I got busy and I was like, well, eventually when we reconnect, I will address it. So finally, this opportunity did come up to address it, right? And I didn't necessarily say, now of course, Messenger, there's like, it's not really talking to somebody. So the energy behind it is a little, off sometimes. It depends how people interpret it. So I just said, hey, you know what? I never really got why you stood me up that day. Like, what was going on? It was kind of weird. And the person's response was, why are you making me feel like this? This was a long time ago. And I was thinking, making you feel like what? Because we actually can't make anybody feel anything. We decide to feel something. That doesn't mean that I don't react. Absolutely, I do. Um, However, I am taking responsibility for my reactions and my emotions. Um, and as far as I could tell, I was doing my best to be just curious, rather than blaming in what I wrote. But obviously, this person took it very personally, that somehow I was trying to make her feel bad, you know? So here's the thing is there's always an opportunity for us to get more intimate and be more real and more authentic with our relationships. And sometimes that means telling the truth of how you perceived or how you felt about something. It can be kind of spicy because there's a party that doesn't want to go there, right? Doesn't want to create conflict, or you imagine the other person would be mad or whatever. Like in this case, yeah, she was upset. It was not my intention for her to be upset. I really wanted to know, like what the heck, what happened? Like, how come you never called me back? I mean, you didn't text me back, right? And it's not like a he, she, we, who's winning, who's not, who's right, who's wrong. It has nothing to do with that. But I took that opportunity to have that extra conversation, which I kind of buried for a while because I hadn't really seen the person. But now is not the time to bury these things. Got to tell you, it's going to be increasingly uncomfortable. And you don't want any of that stuff stuck in your body. Let's just put it that way. You really can't, especially if you're going into your light, your light body, right? So think about the different conversations and relationships. And I'm not saying you have to fix it tomorrow or make it better tomorrow. Start with the most important people in your life. What is it that is, maybe you can get closer by exploring something. If something's uncomfortable for you, if something isn't working for you, right? To be real. And sometimes, yeah, the other person may get upset. And again, you didn't cause their upset because, we got to each take responsibility for our upsetness. Of course, be as kind and compassionate as you can. Admit where you could have done things better without feeling low self-esteem, without feeling guilty. None of that is helpful, not at all. Okay, we can't afford that either these days. But here's the thing, we can't afford not to be on that level of authenticity either. All this stuff is clearing and healing now. Okay, so if you would like it with much more ease, I would highly recommend that you nip it in the bud as soon as it comes about. The sooner the better. Any conversation that you feel a little bit scared to do because it's with someone you love, you care about, you probably need to have that conversation. Okay, so I'll let you kind of stew on that and meditate on that a little bit. Let's do some TOLPAKAN healing. We're going to do, number one, we're going to finish off our all of humanity clearing of the negative thought forms, as well as the emotional addictions. And the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive I'm using today, you can use it anytime for yourself personally, or someone who gives you permission, to do healing on them. Because there are different layers of things. Some things have to heal before others. And so you might have another negative thought form pop up that, we didn't work on today. Now remember, we're doing it for all of humanity as a whole, en masse. So there's like lots and lots and lots of negative thought forms we're clearing all at once. It's already auto-cleared to about 70-something%. Same thing with emotional addictions. So you could do some self-exploration, especially with emotional addictions. Or if you are someone in my level 1 training program, or you already do divine muscle testing, you can go ahead and guess, what negative thought forms or what especially emotional addictions that you might have that you didn't know you had. And that could be really, really helpful. I mean, you can, get rid of these one at a time and heal deeply. So just keep that in mind. The second TOLPAKAN healing activation we're doing today has to do with a recent upgrade or download of self-trust. Now, this is very interesting because many, many people, myself included, has gotten to that space where we have forks in the road. Do I follow this or do I follow that? Do I do this or do I do that? Do I buy from this person or do I buy from this person? Like lots of these choices, these bifurcations in choices, right? And so the self-trust piece makes sense that it would upgrade at this time so we can have an easier time to make these divine decisions, if you will, for ourselves and those we take care of. All right, are you ready? So if you're brand new, what you want to do is, if it's safe for you, you can close your eyes. See if you can feel some energy running in the body. A lot of times people will just rub their hands like this and then bring some heat into the hands, close their eyes, and then feel the energy running in the body without judgment, without, criticism, nothing like that. Just notice something moving in the body. And then when I say the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive, you can go ahead and see whether that changes. All right, so here we go. I now command that all negative thought forms and hidden negative thought forms that can be released right now be released, dissolved, and uncreated from all of humanity and anyone that is watching this with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where you exist. Thank you. Next, I now command that any and all emotional addictions and hidden emotional addictions be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated from all of humanity and everyone listening on this video for this and all other timelines where you exist with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Thank you. It's now commanded that any holes or empty spaces left over be filled with the highest vibrations of love and light. And it's now commanded that the newest, most evolved version of the positive morphic field of self-trust be downloaded and activated in you and all versions of you with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Go ahead and do that for all of humanity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just feel in your body, let that land, let that sit. Feel in your body. You can open your eyes if your eyes are closed. I would love for some feedback on how that felt in your body. You can go ahead and post that lower in the comments. Love to hear how that felt in the body. So that's this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. I do have some announcements. Number one is on Monday's Light Warrior Radio Show, I will have the great pleasure of interviewing my friend Desiree Holmes-Rini, and we had quite a spirited talk. We were talking about mass hypnosis of the world, how people are going through this fear and trauma and anxiety and things like that. And we were talking about how we can use intuition and some practices, intuitive practices, to really be able to tune in to our true intuitive guidance and not necessarily listen to all the noise that's going on in the world. So I think this is really important, right? At this point in time. In fact, there was a famous person who I will not say on this that recently, made that term, mass, what is it? Mass hypnosis, mass psychosis. Oh, now I forgot the hashtag. Sorry, guys. You know what I mean? Mass hypnosis psychosis formation, something like, there we go, something like that, right? Yeah, so just made it really, really popular because he was well followed on Twitter and is apparently no longer on Twitter. So anyway, I think some of you know who I'm talking about. Mass formation psychosis. I think that's it. Can I even say that? I guess we'll find out on YouTube, right? So we're talking about that kind of thing, and she's really neat because she is a master hypnotherapist, life coach, and author. See, she's also a psychic medium. Yes, she's also, someone who encourages her clients to see beyond the physical. Yeah, beyond the physical, expand their sense of self and personal power, to achieve happiness and more of what we want. So definitely join us. This is a recorded podcast. It's going to be aired on Light Warrior Radio Monday at 12 noon Eastern. And I'll put the link near this video so you can check it out. I think you'll really, really love it. Some cool stuff, some new stuff. Two new things. I have two new mini-series on YouTube, just started. The first series is called Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. And in this weekly series, which I will do for at least a year, it reveals some of the health habits that I have. I've been asked personally, like, what do you do? Like, what kind of water do you drink? What do you do, for food? What do you do, like, do you use this product, that product? How do you get better sleep? Like, how do you get great skin? Like you have, all those kinds of things. So I thought, well, I'll just share with you what I actually do. So you'll have a little sneak peek into my house, some of the products I use, some of the habits that I have, and it'll be just different topics. One might be on exercise, one might be on sleep, one might be on water, one might be on, meditation, and so I'll take, all the things that I've learned over the years from, various trainings and experts and things like that, and give you kind of like a little tidbit of each of those, and you can decide whether you resonate with that or not. But since people keep asking me, I thought I'd make a series. So that is on YouTube. We'll put the link below this video so you can check it out. The other one that I'm doing is on the LifeWave Phototherapy patches. Now, I already have a playlist called the micro trainings, the LifeWave micro trainings. And those help with different symptoms, how to patch, which patch, where, what acupuncture points to help with certain symptoms. Now, this other new series that I'm calling, this mini-series, is called LifeWave Mistakes series or mini-series. So what's that? Well, over the years, I've noticed after training many people on my team, customers, on how to use the LifeWave patches, that there seems to be some common themes or misunderstandings and mistakes that people make. So what I thought I would do is just, name these. And so if you are a phototherapy fan like I am, you don't have to get into those problem areas because you'll know ahead of time. And there's some really common errors that people make, which causes sometimes frustration for people or discouragement. So I decided to launch this mini series, and there'll be periodic videos. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll have an alert, when there is a new video. And I have, a big channel, so there's lots of different videos that I do. But if you're interested, you can definitely like and subscribe to my videos, my channel, so you can get alert for these videos. You can also kind of bookmark the playlists as well if you're interested. And it's just another way for me to give back to the LifeWave community as well. Recently, I went to a conference and met some beautiful, wonderful people from all over, the world, who are LifeWave phototherapy fans just like I am. And so because I do a lot of YouTube videos, I tend to be a little bit of a celebrity when I go. And they're always asking me questions, so I thought, well, why don't I just gift everyone my perspective related to the LifeWave patches, so everyone around the world for free, they don't have to pay a consult, can get the best out of their patches. So I think you're really gonna love this series if you are a LifeWave customer or distributor. And if you don't know anything about phototherapy patches and you would like to know something, then I'll just put the link below as well, so you can explore my distributor website for that and see if what you see is what you're interested in. Basically, are you looking for, better sleep, better pain relief, feeling younger, reversing the negative stuff that's happened to 1/3 of your genome, which is your genes, being able to build bone, healthier heart, healthier nervous system. So if those things interest you, let me know. You can always use the contact page on KarenCan.com. And like I said, I'll just put the link below as well. So last but not least, there is a Resiliency Recharge Conference coming up with my friend and host, Ashley Ghost, and I am part of it. Really excited to be part of this. I think that a lot of us could use some recharge, right? Yeah, so we had a really fun conversation. I think you're really going to love that interview. So you can opt in for a free ticket registration. I'll put that link near this video as well, so you can attend all of the different talks and interviews for free. And if you love them, and want to keep them, then, you can always buy the series. I think they have a discounted something or other, usually at the beginning. So I really hope that you enjoyed that as well. I love doing these free interviews. And what I try to do too is for every, telesummit or conference that I'm on, or, radio show, I try to give you another facet of the diamond, so another piece. So yeah, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I've heard her talk about STOM. I talk about STOM a lot, right? Stillness through observing internal movement. But there's always a little piece that's new, that's different, a different aspect of it. So I hope you really enjoy these. I get a lot of people saying they really like it. So what, these different interviews, and the ones that are public, I tend to put on, that are video, I tend to put on another playlist where you can watch some of those as well on YouTube. So you can check out my playlists on YouTube. Remember to like and subscribe below wherever you're seeing this. And feel free to share to anyone who you think might benefit. Well, until next week, lots of love and have a great week. Bye for now.